Greetings to you. No, we're still here. And that is because this is by far the easiest format to begin to talk to you about what is happening within the human body in the energy field. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about what's happened in the last few weeks on the planet and what that looks like and what that means. Now, some of you have already had a little bit of an inkling about this and beginning to understand what it is, but we're going to do some illustrations for you so that it can all start to come together. All right? So we've been talking for some time now about how the planetary grids that maintain the third dimensional reality have been changing in their format, yes? And you know that there are many teams of interplanetary and interdimensional beings that are here to help us at this time with this transformation. So what you've been feeling since the last few weeks on the planet is a solid shifting now between one grid and the other one that was overlaying it. So a lot of you for a lot of time have been feeling like you've got 1 foot in one world and 1 foot in the other, yes? Yeah. Sometimes here, sometimes there. Sometimes what you would like to call expanded, sometimes contracted. And so here you are now, and there's been, in almost all of you in this room, a changeover now to operating on this new Earth grid. And the new Earth grid doesn't really allow you to sustain anything. Now, this is a very interesting notion, yes? Because the whole notion of the new Earth and where we're going is all about sustainability, isn't it? And yet what you're going to now has absolutely nothing to do with sustainability. Because the concept of sustainability suggests that things are going to be a platform on which you can build things, yes? And we have talked to you before about how this new grid is going to be a platform, but it's got nothing to do with really being a platform for stability. It's got nothing really to do with a platform that's got to do with continuity, and it's got nothing to do with consistency. So all of you who like to think you should be consistent in your life, you're in the wrong dimension now. So this grid is all about fluidity, and it's all about creating new, creating new, creating new. So it doesn't actually have the format to be able to maintain consistency in its information. Now we're going to show you what that looks like in the body as well, so you can begin to understand why consistency is not going to work in the body either. And this is going to really underpin the rhythms in the body. Because what humans like to do with rhythms is they like to maintain them. Yes? All of you like to maintain things. And yet you will see that with the time-space continuum that is becoming very fluid at this time, having rhythms that are sustainable are going to be nearly impossible. You are seeing this in your weather patterns, you are seeing this in your economy, you are seeing this in menstrual cycles in women, for example, you are seeing this in all manner of experience in your life now. Do you agree? Yeah. All right. So we're going to give you a little illustration of what the grid looks like. We know that we have spoken to some of you about it already, but we're going to really relate how that works with the body. Are you in agreement? Yes. All right then. So for at least 60,000 years on the planet now, the grid lineup has been a little bit like this. Many of you have already known and understood this grid and how it works. It works on a time-space continuum where everything is sequential, yes? Yeah. And you have to go from here to here to here to here and so on. So it is quite rigid and there is a constant to it. And you will see that this is replicated in many aspects of your life. You look at it in how you determine success, you look at it at how you determine growth, you look at it as how you determine your education systems and all those sorts of things, yes? Yeah. This is third dimensional. It maintains a constant. This is the way the body's energetic field has been configuring for the last 60,000 years. Please excuse this one's crude drawings. talented when it comes to translating what we are putting in your mind. This is what most of you would know in this very crude form as the auric field and the chakra system. The chakra system maintains a constant spin. Agree?
Yeah.
So it complements a grid that maintains a constant. Agree? And then all your practitioners start getting worried when they started to slow down. How many of you have been to have your chakras spinning again? Not going to help you very much. So as this one has been researching for quite some time now with others, this system has been changing, and this is what was spoken about in the last presentation that was given in this format. Then the body started to move into configuration after the crystalline into a new energetic nervous system that comes out of 3 different points of the body, the 3, down the spine, again, very crude drawing by this one, which extends far beyond the boundaries of the body and is no longer encapsulated in an auric field. It is also necessitates another human being to interconnect with it. This is the beginning of the human energetic field beginning to facilitate the unity consciousness. That is what this one is speaking of when they are talking about the unified field. Three, unification. The new planetary grid looks like this. This is the unit of the new planetary grid. It is no longer shaped like that. It is shaped in the geometry of a triangle with 3 points. It will not maintain a constant experience for you. It will not maintain constant rhythms. It will not maintain a constant environment on the planet. So those of you who are looking for your life to settle down into one even keel, you're in the wrong dimension. You should have got off in the 3rd. So what happens is, the grid starts to look like this. You are points of consciousness on the grid. This is you, this is another of you, and when the 2 of you interconnect, you create something new. So you are the points on the grid that is building the new existence on the planet. You're doing it with your vibrational field, you're doing it with your nervous system. What this looks like in the body now a little bit like that. So that is what is being observed in the energy field at this time. It is the unification of a new earth grid within the body, and the body's vibrational field is now resonating at that pitch. All right, enough drawings. We're going to explain the rest to you over here. As far as your functionality on the planet, if you're no longer working towards a constant, if you're no longer working towards consistency, and yet you have all this capacity to interconnect in the unified field with the other humans, what does it mean? What it means is that when unity consciousness on the planet is realized at a not hardly at a vibrational level because we're already there, really. But on a physical level and on a human mass consciousness level, what it means is the information format and the source of all becomes immediately available to you. So we'd like you to imagine a little bit what we've talked about here and illustrated with this one's rather crude interpretations. What it would mean if you were a point of consciousness on this grid and all of the unity consciousness was flowing through you to the next person. What would that mean? What would that mean for the concept of channeling, as this one has been speaking of? What does it mean? Does it mean that you really have to plug in? Does it mean that you really have to raise anything or tune into anything? Or do you just really need to go and sit next to another human being? Because really, the capacity of the mass population on the planet is moving towards this now. Most of you in this room are already there. So you really are at the forefront of what's happening. And there are many from other dimensions and other planetary systems and other realms that are here to assist you and support that at this time. But essentially what it means, blessed ones, is that you have full access to everything. You become the superhighway for the consciousness that you seek. Because the consciousness that you seek, you now have. But what we need to be clear with you about is the way to become aware of this. The way in which you experience this is very, very different to what you've known before. Because what has traditionally been taught in the religious and spiritual houses and institutions in this planet, and yes, we will use the word institution, thank you very much, is that you don't have to go and sit in a cave. You don't have to be alone. And guess what? You don't even have to go within. Because going within is what you did when you had an auric field. Going within is what you had to do. But the human vibrational system and capacity now is not built that way. There are many, many, many who have come to see us in crisis. There have been many light beings, many very fine vibrational beings who have come to see us suffering with what humans would call anxiety or depression. How many of you in this room have experienced this? All of you? Why? Because you're very finely tuned vibrational beings. That is why you're here listening to this. And it is no longer appropriate for you to either attempt to protect yourself vibrationally or to enclose yourself and go within. Do you understand? If you're going to go within, it can only be to extend out. Do you understand? Go within to extend out. Because the way out of the anxiety for you is to extend out that nervous system as far as you can. Because a nervous system like the one we illustrated to you cannot be encapsulated. It cannot be. You will find it is too much for you. Do you understand? It's not designed to be enclosed. And so the way in which you access now what you previously would have by going within is to actually, and we mentioned this in our last talk with you, yes we did, we used the word interface, do you recall? And there were some of you that reacted to that word because you don't really like other humans very much. Well, guess what? That's what's going to help you. You don't have to talk to them if you really don't want to. But you can go and sit next to someone and watch what happens with your nervous system. It actually starts to come alive again. Because you're built to be part of a circuit now. Yes? You're built to be part of a circuit. So you need to be connected. That is what concepts such as oneness communities, yes? Or unity consciousness, it's all about starting to connect again. So you don't have to talk to the man at the bus stop next to you, but it does help if you actually allow your energy field to move out and encompass them as well. Because what you're going to find is that you're going to start to feel a lot more alive and a lot more energetic and a lot more well if you do so. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
So all of you that think you're not doing well at this time, please be aware that you are no longer designed to do this. If only a manual were distributed, yes? If only there were a world governing body that had the heads up that could distribute all the humans with instructions saying, actually, we've changed the system, you need to change the program. Do you see? Are there any questions about this?
Can I ask, so when you're spreading out your energy, if people, is that going to lift you up with all people, or are some people, if you're spreading your energy to them, is it going to raise everyone's vibration?
The most important thing is that it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Because if you're feeling better and you're functioning, you're playing your role in holding that point on the grid. Do you understand? It can either truly enamor the person you're with, or you may find that there are some that it doesn't resonate with. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And so people will either move away or move closer.
Yeah.
It really matters not. What matters is that you are functioning well. Do you see? Because if you are functioning well, the planet's going to function well.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Are you still being impacted then with the other energy of other people?
You can be the lesser one. But usually what happens is that the energy field feels a dissonance, yes?
Yeah.
It starts to feel that something's not right. And automatically what it does is it does this.
Yeah.
Because that's what you have learned. Do you see? And when you do that, that's when things start to become contracted. So it is advisable, if you feel dissonance, to actually expand out into the dissonance. Do you understand? Because if you expand out into it, it must either rise to meet you or it must leave. Yes? Why don't all of you go and try it in your workplaces tomorrow? When you feel someone walking in with a bit of dissonance, completely flood them. Yes? See what happens. It's lots of fun. You can make it a game. And what it does is it gets you comfortable with doing it. Because for many of you we have spoken to, it is terrifying to actually think of opening up when you're feeling fear. But if you think of it as a function of your electrical magnetic field, it becomes easier to consider.